Everything needs to come to an end. Quite straightforward. This video is for my subscribers, all those people that have followed me over the years, and that's what I'm gonna focus on. Normally I write a story in the book. This is a one take, and in the beginning of all my videos I got very many comments saying put this gentleman on 2 times the speed because I was talking too slow. This is a one take, as I said, and therefore I'm not going to stress it. I'm going to take my time and talk to you that have been following me for a while, and perhaps from the beginning, 2018. In this book, and when I open it, really gives me a lot of joy, excitement, but also a lot of stress and anxiety. It's the stories that I've been telling since January 2018. And I am truly happy that I have this book. It has given me so much joy in life by connecting with you. I also would like, before I continue my discussion, to thank all my partners that has entered, especially Michelin, that actually believed in me when I only had less than 1,000 subscribers, and they said, Janko, the level you present things and the quality is something that Michelin stands for. And also I need to shout out for HRE, Porsche, Linds, and others that has really helped me going through and make this possible. But as I said, everything must come to an end. And this is my last video on this channel. Well, I cannot guarantee that I will not publish something just because I will like it, but it's no longer organized. I will never call me a YouTuber from today, but I perhaps would like to publish something in the future, which I don't know right now. I have built up a few frustrations that I need to say, and perhaps it's the main reasons why I decided not to go through. You see, when I test a car, or when I create a comment or thought, it is my belief, nobody else. I think I call it my religion, and I never try to get influences by watching others and what they say. I would like to make my own opinion. And I have my cars that I test from 10 to 20 days. And that irritates me, because when I start to analyze, especially the British YouTubers, I just built up frustration. If they test a car, it's only a few hours, and in best case it's 1, and in rare cases 2 days. You know, it takes me 3 days just to do the normal test run, which I do. You know, I have in this book, I have a kind of a track record. I drive the same road when mostly, well, not in the same conditions, since this is Sweden, we have autumn, spring, summer and winter, but nevertheless, I write down all the test results. I measure decibel, I measure handling in different speeds, in G, etc. Really put some numbers into what I feel. And then I only present my thoughts. I have never ever presented the data, because that's not what the channel is all about. It's about passion, it's about Porsche, right? Well, I've done some few exceptions, haven't I? But the frustration when I see British YouTubers, especially those that perhaps are ranked very highly, I feel, I mean, Chris Harris, for crying out loud, he actually thought the GR Yaris was a superb car. It's like, Chris, do something else. You know, that's the effect of it, isn't it? You know, when you have the true fact in your hands, and that you realize that GR Yaris is the overrated rubbish car ever, and I know that because I've owned it and I've driven it, I've owned it, I paid for it, and it's just plain rubbish. And the thing is, everybody that owns GR Yaris, they modify it in order to be the car that it's supposed to be, which makes the 718 Cayman and Boxster the best road car ever, because GR Yaris is more expensive, even though if you look at the price tag, because when you're done with your GR Yaris, your wallet gonna be empty big time. So that's a big frustration for me, that YouTube does not pay attention to YouTubers that really put their effort to it. And I get a lot of comments saying that your reviews are different. Well, I think this is the answer to that question. And then it's about time. I mean, I was actually vice president for a very large IT company in Sweden, running parallel work and YouTube at the same time. Believe me, it creates I burned a lot of calories, to put it this way. And in the beginning, I really wanted to educate myself, and that was actually the main purpose why I started a YouTube channel, because I needed to understand social media. I needed to learn this, being in front of the camera, and perhaps most and forward, understanding everything and how it connects. And I've been experiment and how much can I provoke. I'm not sure if you have seen that, but I have actually provoked a lot on this channel, especially in terms of sex, in terms of religion, as I call it, etc. And I learned a lot on what creates engagement, so to speak, which I will carry on for the rest of my life. And I am also a leader, which means that if I'm going to be a leader, which I intend to be for at least 20 years to come, I really need to understand how could I connect through a camera, because in the future I don't think that we will have as much office time as we used to have. And time is one thing which now you already noticed that I haven't published as much in the end as I have done before. The time that I have left to spend with my family, my son, that's very important. Now my phone is ringing, and this is one take, so I'm going to come back to you soon. I told you it was a one take, it was your one, he has to wait. Where were I? Anyway, it has been amazing to share all my Porsche experience, but in the same time now, when I haven't published much, it feels great to have Porsches, which I have had for 7 years, which is not published on my YouTube channel. When this is recorded, I have 3 Porsches, and I just think one of them is public. And that feels quite good. It's my Porsches, it's not for everybody else. With that said, I think we had some amazing cars on this channel, which I have owned. I think 2 992 black ones, different options, and I loved having them both because I could really measure them. And speaking of 992, let's throw some more religions into that. There is cars that I have had and tested but not made any review of. One of them is the 992 GTS, because I didn't feel anything for the car. The only reason I might buy a 992 GTS is the value added option pack, and if you have a fetishism for center lock wheels, then that's the car to go. But it does not give me much more than especially a 992 Carrera S with a Linz Road and Track. It's like, why would I buy a GTS? It's I don't see that. I think I covered everything when it comes to the 992 GT3. Coming back to my ownership, and one question that I get, which car do you regret selling? And I come back to 2 cars basically, and this is quite interesting. Most forward, it's my 718 Cayman T. And if you haven't watched that playlist, how I bought a brand new 718 Cayman T, that was in back 2019, I believe it was. And my first drive with it was on a racetrack, and I just built up what I believe is one of the best driver's cars which I have ever owned, with the modification I did. And coming back to that horsepower question, and the 4-pot. For me, the 718, the Boxster that came in, should not be a 6-cylinder car, because it gets that I couldn't afford a 911 disease with a 4-pot cylinder. That really creates the Porsche brand for me, connection back to the 550 Spiders and all the beautiful old cars. And with the modification I did on the Cayman T, it's for me a higher need of that car rather than a GT4. And 300 horsepower, and I think we have discussed this both on comments and also in terms of reviews that I've done. Pushing a car with less horsepower is actually more fun rather than to, being a passenger driving a 992 Carrera S, 450 plus horsepower, just throwing yourself out of a corner and, letting the computer do the work. The Cayman T was much more true. A manual gear stick, 300 horsepower, and a slip differential in the back, 918 bucket seat, roll cage, red in the ceiling. Ooh, yeah. So that's one of the cars which I miss a lot. The other one, believe it or not, is the Cayenne hybrid. Remember, this was one of the first coupe hybrid. I think first of all as a SUV. The lines of the coupe is beautiful. This was only the 30-kilometer range hybrid, but I think it did its work. If it would have been a smaller size, I think we would have kept it longer. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we had, let me see if I can go through the cars that I owned. In the first, it started up with a 991.2 GT3 Club Sport manual. After that, it was the 992 Carrera S, the first one. We talked about the 718 Cayman. I had the coupe Cayenne, back to the 992. Well, it's the Spider, obviously. Again, 718 Spider with the mods that I did on that one is a really close one, which you should take under consideration. The 718 Spider is a true driver's cars, and if you remember, more than a year ago, before any picture was published, I talked about the Spider RS that will come later. I think next year. Again, could be one of the best Porsches, so pay attention if you're in the market for some really motorsport product. The Spider RS will be a much cooler product than the GT4 RS. Again, the GT4 RS is something I most likely would have bought before 992 GT3. Again, it feels so much more Porsche. With a double wishbone suspension, it just takes away that 911 feeling. And therefore the GT4 RS is probably moving up in my list anyway. So let me think, what do I want to say more? I've thanked everybody. I've told a big shout out and thanks for my partners. I didn't mention AutoShield, but I've mentioned them 100 times in all my videos. If you haven't put PPF on your vehicle, just do it for the simplicity of cleaning the car, I would say. Yeah, feels a bit odd staring at a camera lens perhaps for the last time and saying goodbye to all of you. It feels strange. Feels yeah, I'm not sure what I feel. What do I feel? Like the weather, it's raining outside. It has been amazing. I've reached out and I connected with so many people. And all the comments, I will still continue to answer comments as much as I can, and when I have time over, I will do that. I will get less time because when this video is published, I'm starting a new job position. So, and by the way, if you want to get connected with me through LinkedIn, don't hesitate. Just Google my name on LinkedIn and you could just send me an invitation, and I accept all invitation on LinkedIn. I want to build a network from a professional perspective there as well. So please just connect through LinkedIn. Yeah, feels strange, but that's how it is, isn't it? and it has been a true pleasure having you as a viewer.